Welcome to the 13th episode of Ahargana. I'm long way away from home. I am no longer in the Western Ghats. I moved up north, I crossed the Vindhyas, I moved into Rajasthan, the land of the Rajas. And I am standing in front of Mehrangarh Fort in Jodhpur. Usually I go to out of the way places to search for nature, but somehow this fort, though it is a man-made structure, it blends so beautifully with the natural rock formation on which it has been built. It's blazing hot here. I can remove my hat, but I'm getting burnt. I'm really getting toasted here. The bright sun is roasting me alive. But it feels good to get a lot of vitamin D, which you really cannot get in Bangalore city. I have seen a similar fort, similar to this, in the place where I grew up. That was in Tiruchirappalli, where I studied, not where I grew up, in Tiruchirappalli. That also grows out of a rock formation, but that is much smaller. It doesn't have this size and this grandeur. This is on a much grander scale. But we all know that we are not here to discuss nature, at least not on this scale, however grand it may be. We are here to discuss nature on a much grander scale. So you know the topic we are on in this episode. It's in the middle of 3 episodes. This is the second one on adhika masa and the need for adhika masa. So in the previous one, I showed you month by month how the moon kind of falls behind, Amavasya falls behind Sankramana. And hence, in the course of 1 year, Phalguna Amavasya fell back by 11 days. You started with a 2-day difference, you ended up with a 13-day difference. And that was in 2021. 2022, that continues. It starts with a 13-day difference and falls back another 11 to a 24-day difference. So I will not show that to you in this episode, but I will start from that 24-day difference. 2023, the upcoming Phalguna Amavasya, and something happens here in this upcoming year with the Phalguna Amavasya coming in March. And that actually is part of a broader pattern. The moon falls back, and then this year, 2023, it leaps forward. So Phalguna Amavasya is here 2 days from Sankramana, then it fell back. This year, instead of falling further back, it leaps forward. So you could say that this upcoming chandra varsha is a leap year, though we don't use that phrase, but it is indeed a leap year because an entire masa, adhika masa, gets added this year. And this pattern continues again and again across years. So I will show you in this video only Phalguna Amavasya falling back, jumping forward, falling back, jumping forward, falling back, jumping forward. So that is a particular pattern. It's not exactly every 2.5 years it jumps forward, sometimes every 1.5 years it jumps forward. But over a period of 19 years, this pattern starts repeating. In other words, 19 years from now, in 2040, Phalguna Amavasya again comes back to April 12th. Now, 1940 is a leap year, so on the calendar you will see it as April 11th and not 12th. But this annual pattern is what I am going to show in today's episode. And I will take you through 19 years. I won't show you the moon going round and round and round and round, which you are used to. But instead, I will just swap the dates. I will keep jumping forward year after year after year after year, Phalguna Amavasya only. And you observe where Phalguna Amavasya is on the ecliptic and what is the date of Phalguna Amavasya. And you will visually see the falling back, leaping forward, falling back, leaping forward, falling back, leaping forward. So that's about as much sunburn as I can take. So I'm going to cut my talk here and I'm going to roll the video, the animation, Take a look. Okay, let's get started. In the previous episode, we saw how the chandra masas and saura masa, though they start very much together with just a 2-day gap in 2021, proceeding forward month by month by month, they were falling out of sync. The gap between Chandramasa beginning and Sauramasa beginning was increasing. In this episode, instead of going month by month by month, I'm going to take you year by year by year for 19 years and show you a specific pattern and introduce you to the idea of leap year in the Hindu calendar. Though we don't use that term leap year, but it makes a lot of sense to use it, as I will show you in this animation. So if you look at the starting point, we are on 2021, April 12th. This is an Amavasya. And this was the starting point for the previous episode also. And here is Meshadi, and Amavasya is very close to Meshadi. And in the previous episode, we saw it was just 2 days before Mesha Sankranti. I'm not showing you the other Sankranti points this time because they are not relevant for this context. Now I'm going to move this animation forward by 1 full year. This position was the ending point of the previous episode. In the previous episode, I went a little bit further until the sun came back to Meshadi. But this is the next Phalguna Amavasya of 2022, when it was on April 1st. So Phalguna Amavasya fell back by 11 days. This I had mentioned in the previous episode. And with respect to Meshadi, or rather Mesha Sankranti, Phalguna Amavasya has fallen back by 13 days because Mesha Sankranti is always on April 14th, except on leap years when it will be April 13th. Now, these 2 points you have already seen in the previous episode. Now let's go to 1 more year forward. I'm going to go into the future now. And this is 2023, the year we are in. And on March 21st will be the next Phalguna Amavasya. And you know that Phalguna Amavasyas are indicating the beginning of Chaitra Masa. So these are nothing but Chandramana Yugadis. So in this year, Chandramana Yugadi will be on March 21st, 2023. So it's again fallen back. So the Phalguna Amavasya in 2021 was here. The moon was here along with the sun in conjunction. 2022 it moved here. 2023 it has come here. So the moon is falling back, or rather Phalguna Amavasya is falling back. So you would expect that in 2024 it would be somewhere here if this pattern is maintained. Let's see what happens in 2024. What did you see now? You saw that instead of falling back here, the moon from this point leaped forward to this point. And in 2024, Phalguna Amavasya is on April 8th. And it has come back closer to Meshadi, closer to to Mesha Sankranti. So this leaping forward is what I refer to as a leap year. What does that mean? That means that the year ending April 8th, 2024 had 13 months, not 12 months. If this year had included only 12 months, then the moon would indeed have fallen back here. But by introducing an extra month, an adhika masa, the Phalguna Amavasya has been brought back closer to Mesha Sankranti, closer to April 14th. Not exactly to April 14th, in this case it is April 8th, but it's kind of resynchronized. What was falling behind, by introducing an entire extra month, it has been pushed forward and brought closer back to Mesha Sankranti. Now the exact details of this extra month being introduced, I will show you in the next episode. But in this episode, let's continue forward. Let's start from this point, April 8th, 2024. This is Phalguna Amavasya. Now what happens in 2025? It's fallen back to March 29th, 2025. And in 2026, it fell back again to March 19th, 2026 is Chandramana Yugadi. But now you know the pattern, what's going to happen. Now it leaps forward. In 2027, it came back to April 7th this time, closer to April 14th, closer in physical position to Meshadi. Then going forward, let's start from April 7th, 2027. What happens in 2028? March 26th, 2028. That's where it has fallen back. One more year. March 15th, 2029, it fell back. And after that, now you do expect that it will leap forward. And that's exactly what it does. It leaped forward to April 3rd, 2030. Now, once again, what this means is that the year ending, the chandra varsha, ending April 3rd, 2030, contained 13 months, not 12 months. And that 13th month is adhika masa. Now let's move forward one more year. So we'll start from April 3rd, 2030. The moon is here. Phalguna Amavasya is here. Move next year. It moves to March 23rd, 2031. And now you would expect it to fall back one more year, but no. It immediately leaps forward to April 10th, 2032. So until now the pattern was it falls back 1 year, falls back one more year, and after that it leaps forward. Now it fell back just 1 year and then it leaped forward. So we cannot firmly say that after every 2 years there will be a leap year. After every 2 years an adhika masa gets added. No, this time after 1 year. So this is 2030. It fell back once, 2031, and then immediately it leaped forward. Continuing further, starting from here, April 10, 2032, falls back once, falls back twice, same pattern, and now it leaps forward to April 8th, 2035. And finally, let's start here, April 8th, 2035, falls back, it becomes March 28th, 2036, March 17th, 2037, and leaps forward, April 4th, 2038. And one more step here, April 4th, 2038, it falls back next year to March 24th, 2039, and immediately leaps forward to April 11th, 2040. Now remember, when we started this entire animation, we started with April 12th, 2021. Now this has come to April 11th, 2040. But remember, 2040 is a leap year. So what normally would have been April 12th has become April 11th. So that means that the moon, after 19 years, specifically Phalguna Amavasya, has come back to the same position on the ecliptic. To make that point clear, I will show you where Phalguna Amavasya was on April 12th, 2021. That was this small circle. So this is where we started in 2021, this entire animation. And now after 19 years, in 2040, we have come back to the same place. The ecliptic longitude is the same, latitude is different. Latitude is moving outwards, this is latitude. Longitude is moving along the circle. So if I think of ecliptic longitude, then both these positions, the moon's ecliptic longitude is identical. And this is not a coincidence, this is actually a pattern. Every 19 years, the phases of the moon come back to the same position on the ecliptic. The phase of the moon we are interested in is Phalguna Amavasya in this animation, because that is Chandramana Yugadi. And after 19 years, it's come back to the same position. This 19-year cycle, in English, it's known as the Metonic cycle, because the Greeks claim that everything was discovered and invented by the Greeks. So somebody called Meton discovered it, etc., etc. But this is a well-known cycle, a 19-year cycle, and that applies in this fashion in Hindu astronomy. So after this, you have seen this pattern. Now after that, this whole animation which I showed basically will repeat for the next 19 years and the next 19 years and the next 19 years. Again and again and again, infinitely. So if you have been keeping count, then starting from 2021 to 2040, in this 19-year period, there were 7 times the moon leaped forward. Phalguna Amavasya leaped forward. There were 7 leap years in the cycle of 19 years. So this is the annual pattern, and this is why adhika masa is required, because if we don't have it, Phalguna Amavasya will keep falling back all over the place. Whereas here, by introducing a leap month, an adhika masa, you saw Phalguna Amavasya falling back, leaping forward, falling back, leaping forward, falling back, leaping forward 7 times. And finally, it ended up in the same place where I started this animation. So this perspective you can easily verify. If you can look up Drik Panchang, you can verify all these dates. Drik Panchang easily shows you Phalguna Amavasya dates well into the future. I am still using the dates and times given by Stellarium, but there is hardly maybe an hour or hour and a half or 2 hours difference between Stellarium dates and Drik Panchang dates when it comes to Amavasya date and time. So that is quite irrelevant in this context. So that brings me to the end of this animation. I hope you understood this pattern. You actually saw adhika masa in action, though I have not shown you the exact month being introduced. I showed you the duration of a year being extended to push Phalguna Amavasya closer back to Mesha Sankranti and Meshadi, physically closer back. So this is the second part of explaining to you the idea of synchronizing the Chandramana Varsha and the Sauramana Varsha, Chandra Varsha and Saura Varsha. The previous episode we saw month by month. This episode we saw year by year the effect of leap year. And in the next episode, I will get finally into the exact details of one leap year and show you when an extra month is added and what is the astronomical criteria required for adding an extra month. But that is for the next episode. I will close this episode here, this animation here. Thank you very much for watching. Now you understand all about the 19-year cycle of the moon, and 7 of those 19 years are leap years because they contain adhika masas. So in the next upcoming episode, I will dig deeper into one adhika masa, that is the upcoming one, the 2023 one, and show you the astronomical criteria which are used to determine when exactly to introduce an adhika masa. And this episode, which is going to come up next, will be similar to the previous one, because I will once again show you the moon going round and round and round but not 12 times, it's 13 times this time, because there is an adhika masa in the picture. So I'm going to close this episode now. If you like this episode and the previous one and this information I'm giving you about adhika masa, please share this link with all your contacts so that more people understand the astronomy behind the Hindu calendar. So until the next episode, thank you very much for watching. Take care and bye-bye.